At 7 o'clock, let's get started. I'll call the meeting to order of the Upper Big Blue Natural Resource District. Open Meetings Act, the public notice has been published in the York News Times on April 11th of 2024. The Open Meeting Act is posted in the back of the room by the door. Reminder, all cell phones should be silenced during the meeting. Please be aware that this meeting is being recorded. When speaking, the desktop microphone button must be depressed. This ensures that your comments are recorded in their entire context. The recording becomes part of the public record along with written board minutes in accordance with state statute. Roll call.
Bethune,
Here.
Anthony Bohaty,
Here.
Jeff Bohaty,
Here.
Richard Bohaty.
Here.
Dickinson,
Here.
Grotz, Houdersheldt,
Here.
Tina, Miller,
Here.
Nuss,
Here.
Otte,
Here.
Perry,
Here.
Peterson,
Here.
Siebert,
Here.
Stahly, here, Weiss,
Here.
Yates,
Here.
We have a quorum.
A consideration of director's request for excuse absence. I have one, Bill Keener, family obligation. What would the board like to do?
Move to accept.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept an excused absence for Bill Keener. Roll call.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz, Houdersheldt,
Yeah.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes, Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Public comments. Anyone may comment on any matter that is not on this agenda. However, no board action can be taken until the following board meeting according to Nebraska Open Meeting Act unless the board declares it an emergency. Please hold comments on any listed items until it is considered. Does anyone have anything? Yes. Sign in, state your name on the microphone, push the button until the light's green. And I'll give you a couple minutes.
May I?
Yeah.
I have push this button when I'm speaking. Is that correct?
If it turns green, then you can release it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, my name is Tina Oswald. I am from Aurora. I would like to direct my comments to Mr. Chairman, the Upper Big Blue NRD Board, and the staff. Thank you for letting me take a few moments to speak tonight. I attended the last Water Committee meeting and asked about adopting a moratorium. So in trying to understand the state statutes and the Upper Big Blue NRD needing to revise Rule 5, I propose that the Upper Big Blue NRD, by the authority given in Nebraska State Statute 46-707 and additionally 46-739, that the Upper Big Blue NRD considers imposing a moratorium for large permits, or excuse me, for permits to large water users where a hydrologic water study is required. Said moratorium will be enacted to allow the Upper Big Blue NRD time to evaluate Rule 5 as it pertains to allocation, how to monitor unregistered domestic wells within a set distance of new big water users, and other factors in Rule 5 for consideration of change. In trying to understand the interpretation of these statutes, I reached out to the Natural Resources District in Lincoln. Those discussions left some gray areas for interpretation of the statutes, so I did reach out to BWJ for clarification in which I have not yet received a response. Maybe your board could get clarification from Mr. Blackenau on the questions I directed to him, and my email is included in your handout. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. As we were talking about that, and this is just a question I'm gonna throw out there, you know, and it deals with this. But when we issue a well permit, can we as a board put stipulations or limitations on those well permits? Other than what we have? Is that ever done, Terry? Do you know?
You mean in the case of large water user?
Yeah,
I think it
well-
depends.
Yeah,
I think it depends a lot on what the hydrologic study shows and if there is a potential for interference somewhere. I know that this board did when the city of York applied for their new well fields outside of town here. They lowered the amount that they could requested because of it was going to affect that existing ethanol plant that was there. So I believe there is, to some degree, there can be stipulations as long as there's data and information to back that up.
I guess as I was thinking about this, and as far as limitations or stipulations, even if they're not in our rules and regulations, that when we issue a permit, you know, we could put it in there, and I don't want to open up a can of worms right now. But I guess what I was thinking of, that, you know, when we issue the permit with stipulation, if we go into allocation, that they have to back off their pumping. And I don't know if that'd have to be in our regulations or if we could just put that with the permit. It's just something to think about, but I don't even really want an answer right now, you know, but it's just, I'm just curious, you know, more than anything. So. Yes,
At the water committee meeting like this next month, we'll have some discussions along
Okay.
that same line.
okay, thank you. Okay, so with that, we're gonna move on. Oh, yes, did you want to speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Please don't. Yeah. May I have some papers out, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
Just a couple minutes.
It might take me just a little bit longer than a couple minutes, but I promise I won't go past about 6 minutes. If that's all right.
Thank you.
I put my glasses on so I can see.
Sign in, introduce yourself.
I did,
again.
thank
Okay.
you. Good evening, NRD Board of Directors, Chairman, and staff. My name is Angie Joyce. I would like to I handed out copies of the Brown and Caldwell peer review marked with questions and concerns, copy of well data pages in the Olson's Synergen well permit hydrologic evaluation, and a 3-mile area map of wells registered in the proposed site of the industrial large water user company Synergen. Starting with the cover page of the Brown and Caldwell peer evaluation, Synergen's hydrologic report. Olson submitted the report dated December 1st, 2023 to this board. According to the Brown and Caldwell technical memorandum dated December 20th, 2023. Upper Big Blue Natural Resource District was prepared for. Project title Synergen well permit, and it was addressed to Marie Krosnick. Page 1 background, and my understanding is that the Upper Big Blue Natural Resources groundwater flow model construction and mod flow is used to determine the water withdrawal for large water users.
The model is referred to as the Blue River Basin BRB Regional Model. Page 2, approach states, Olson has been retained by Synergen to apply the Blue River Basin Regional Scale Groundwater Model to estimate potential groundwater impacts for four wells, pumping a total of 2,300 gallons per minute all day, every day, all year. The model developed by Olson for Synergen Industrial Project is referred to as the child model. Looking at the study model grid on page 2, for my understanding, Olson used the Blue River Basin model that covers 874 miles to create the child model that uses a 3-mile radius. Olson calls the child model the Upper Big Blue Subregional Model. The peer review states, quoting them, the approach does not represent a natural hydraulic condition or feature, but does serve to tie the performance to the regional predictions provided by Blue River Basin. Also page 2, the wells and parameterization page. Brown and Caldwell explained that the approach Olson used to create the study submitted for Synergen's well permits. I would like to point out that after detailed explanation from Brown and Caldwell on how models were used, they state the effect would potentially reduce the simulated drawdown from existing pumping compared to what may be estimated if the same total withdrawn were to be simulated in a single small UBBSN grid cell, Northern Upper Big Blue Subregional Model, the child model created by Olson's. Page 3, in the study model summary, do I understand this correctly? Brown and Caldwell estimate existing well drawdown at 11.6 at 8% reduction. Doesn't the Synergen report conclude that the 3-mile range was 2 to 3%? Brown and Caldwell state further evaluation, this is quoting, further evaluation of data and model predictions would be required to confirm if a safe yield is being exceeded in any portion of the UBBNRD. The report also mentions water mining may be occurring within the UBBS. This is Olson's model. Could this be in part by not having all the wells documented in the 3-mile area on the Olson study? The map you were handed has 100 wells listed, not including unregistered domestic wells and active wells, injection wells, or decommissioned wells. You, the board, also have the 177 wells listed on the Olson hydrologic study. What wells were used? The Olson report states 54 groundwater wells were used for the simulation. I can find 100 wells, and Olson's report has 177 wells. So why were only 54 wells used in the hydrologic study? Page 4, the hydrogeologic study review summary. The Northern Upper Big Blue Subregional Model prepared by Olson generally complies with the basic requirements for the hydrogeologic evaluation. Brown and Caldwell identified sensitivity analysis and placement of the pumping of individual wells as exceptions. My interpretation of this is these do not comply with the requirements. Page 4, the conclusions. This is quoting, the uncertainties in the NUBBS model have not been evaluated or described in magnitude of uncertainties associated with the assumptions made in constructing the NUBBS for all unknown. Page 5, the limitations portion. Quoting Brown and Caldwell, specifically Brown and Caldwell has not obtained or reviewed the model input or output files, development in support of the evaluation report. Brown and Caldwell have not run the Northern Upper Big Blue flow model and has not attempted in any way to verify model results provided by Olson. After reading the peer review from Brown and Caldwell on the Synergen well permit hydrologic evaluation, I respectfully disagree with Mr. Terry Julesgaard's interpretation of the peer review presented to the NRD board the day of December 21st, 2023. My interpretation is that Synergen hydrologic study was not validated by Brown and Caldwell. At the April 9th, 2024 Water and Regulations Committee meeting, I addressed the board of my concerns and questions about the hydrologic evaluation report. In my opinion, the Brown and Caldwell peer evaluation should have been interpreted to be on the side of caution before approving the Synergen hydrologic evaluation water permits. The board has been put into uncomfortable situations in the decision-making process. Did this board have time to research documentation and ask questions before voting yes to approve Synergen's well permits? Did the NRD board have time to evaluate the peer review from Brown and Caldwell before you were expected to pass the Synergen well permit hydrologic evaluation? With all the questions and documentation presented to this board, does this board of directors have recourse to pull the 4 well permits granted? And all I want to say is, you're all volunteering for your time, and I do appreciate your dedication. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak? Okay, the next thing on the agenda, adoption of agenda. Would somebody like to adopt? our agenda? Roll call.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson.
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yeah.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next item on agenda, approval of minutes of the March 21st, 2024 Board of Directors meeting. Is there any corrections or additions or anything? Roll call.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson.
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Abstain.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
already voted, yes.
Yeah, so you asked me.
Yates.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the Water Regulations Committee report. Kendall.
The Water and Regulations Committee met Tuesday, April 9, 2024 at 7:00 PM at the NRD office. Those who participated are listed below. Bohaty committee members were Bohaty, Dickinson, Grotz, Miller, Otte, Peterson, Stahly, myself, and Yates. Other staff, guests, and directors are also listed. Action items, JEO invoice. An invoice was received from JEO Consulting Group for professional service through March 15th, 2024, related to the facilitation of the advisory committee workshop. A final report was emailed to all the directors. Motion to pay JEO Consulting Group for professional services provided in the amount of $6,017.50. This motion carried 8 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item, Concordia University. An invoice was received from Concordia University for the use of the facility and food and beverage services for the Regenerative Ag Conference held there on February 28th, 2024. Around 300 attended the event. There were 16 industry sponsors and 4 NRD sponsors. Motion to pay Concordia University for venue and food service in the amount of $8,648.14. This motion carried 8 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Any questions or comments? John.
How much income did we have from the sponsors? Approximately.
It was a little over 9,000.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item C, 4 aquifer quality well abandonment cost share assistance program applications have been approved for final payment totaling $3,000. A list is attached. Motion to make cost share payments for 4 well abandonments as reviewed by the committee at a cost of $3,000. This motion carried 8 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson.
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item D, 1 water meter repair cost share assistance application has been approved for final payment totaling $300. A list is attached. Motion to make cost share payments for 1 water meter repair cost share assistance as presented by staff and reviewed by the committee in the amount of $300. This motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Who had the second?
Doug Dickinson.
Thank you.
Questions on this? Comments?
Is that, that's the amount we agree to pay on every. That's the approved amount for each water meter.
Yes, that's the maximum amount that we pay for repairs on meters.
Doesn't seem like it. We're forcing them to put water meters on and then.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when it was done, it was probably a pretty fair amount, but as time has passed, and costs have increased.
If it wasn't a forced, or I call it forced, whatever you call it, if it wasn't mandatory.
Yeah.
I could understand, but where it's mandatory, I'm not one that wants to spend extra money, but to me, that doesn't seem right that we're costing him, but $800, almost $850, we're only paying $300. I think we should possibly up that, being this mandatory rule.
That's something if the committee wants to address, we can sure do that.
Okay,
Do you want that on the committee's agenda?
the water, I would like to see it.
Okay, okay.
At least have you guys discuss it. then.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll put it on next month's agenda.
Yes. Yes.
Just a quick note, wasn't that that was one of those rare ones where they replaced an electronic meter that went wacky? Is that the right one?
It could be, I don't remember particularly on this one here, but yeah, we've had several of those that.
Yeah,
They
they were
can't-
high,
they
they were
can't-
higher priced, I
Yeah.
believe.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item E, an invoice was received from Klein Sales and Service for 5 IRRO cloud sensor monitors. These were purchased for resale. Motion to pay Klein Sales and Service for their IRRO cloud sensor monitors in the amount of $5,076. This motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Any questions on this? Comments? Roll call.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item F, the committee reviewed the irrigated acres certification for 8 parcels totaling 557.63 acres, yielding an increase in irrigated acres of 19.94. The total irrigated acres for the district is 1,249,252.17 acres. Motion to accept the certified acre changes as presented to the committee. This motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Questions on this? Comments? Oh, yes, Paul.
When this was all certified irrigated acres, was there any amount given or any thought of an amount given for the total? Oh, sorry. When this was started, this certification here, was there any amount given as to how many acres we thought we could stand in the upper Big Blue, or is this, we just keep adding, or I'm just curious, is there an acre count that that you kind of come to?
Not that I know of, but I mean, as we go through the year, we have increases and decreases. So I don't know how much actually overall total increase in irrigated acres there would be, because there's some of these that get decreased too, so.
So if we stay dry, which I don't know if we're going to or not, but if we stay dry, we don't have a certain amount that we throw a moratorium on or any, because I know where my son-in-law lives, they threw a moratorium on here several years ago. I don't know if it's still on or not. Do we have anything like that on the books?
No, we don't have anything in our rules that would address that at this time.
Roger.
Yeah, we never looked at limiting acres at any time. With groundwater share alike. And that's why we looked at allocation instead of a moratorium. And Blue was never ever in danger of being fully appropriated since we've been looking at this over the whole year, so that's why that's why it's never gone to that point. We didn't feel it was right to penalize a new farmer when there was guys that had their wells since the 50s, penalize the guy that didn't happen to have the wells in the 50s, so that's why that came about.
That's fine, that's just fine.
It seems like we talked about, it's been a while. It's like, what, 93% of the district is already irrigated? Yeah, I know that's irrigatable, I guess, So there won't be a lot more acres probably ever irrigated it in the district. But I think Rod came up with that or something, and I don't know. I know there's more acres out there, but they're just not practical. But to irrigate there's very little water, so I don't know if that helps. I know there was a number thrown out, and I think it's like 93%.
Well, I think Hamilton County, 93% of the acres are already irrigated,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
the highest in
yeah.
the state of any county.
Yeah.
And your county's probably not a whole lot far
Right.
behind. And everything in Seward County that has water underneath it, most of it's
Yeah.
already irrigated.
Yeah, and I'm not for sure how he came up with those numbers, but that was something about what I remembered, so. I know, but that
No, it's fine, I just
helps,
want.
but to answer your question, I know some districts put on moratoriums, there was supposedly a big rush to drill wells because they had a lot of dry land acres. I know they wanted to convert, but I wouldn't say in this district, that's the way it is.
There's plenty of water west of Aurora, I think, isn't there?
Right now.
That was,
Okay.
that was a lighting moment there.
Yeah. Is there any other questions or comments? Before we vote on the motion, which is to certify the acre changes, an increase of 19.94. Roll call.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item G. Lift training order of cease and desist. Robert Stearns has completed his phase 2 and 3 reporting form for the 2022 season, and Derek Eastman, Vavra Farms, Dean Vavra, and Jim Vitka
Yeah.
have submitted their water use reports for the 2023 season. These orders can be lifted. Motion to lift the order of cease and desist on Robert Stearns, Derek Eastman, Vavra Farms, Dean Vavra, and Jin Vitka. Motion carried 9 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Any questions on these or comments? Roll call.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson.
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Two producers have submitted water use reports on land which has an order of cease and desist. Staff request directors direction on how to proceed with these violations. The committee directed staff to provide a timeline of events along with a report of inches per acre applied per parcel and present it at the next committee meeting. Discussion and no action items. Application for water sustainability funds has been submitted to the Department of Natural Resources, and a copy of the application was emailed to the directors. The press proposal was mailed out to 18 providers as a committee meeting. No proposals have been received. Staff will send out a reminder letter with a deadline prior to the next committee meeting. A well permit summary is attached in your guys' report. There was an SCAL update. The project on the 5-acre plot continues to move forward. The site will have multiple types of soil moisture sensors and varied irrigation rates from fully to deficit. There is a discussion on large water users and a rules review. Angie Joyce asked some questions at the previous board meeting as well as in between the meetings. And so some of those were answered that could have been answered. Then we moved on to a discussion that was related to how allocation will happen related to large water users. Some of the discussion led to whether we should do a percentage if they don't have a historic history or a history of pumping to go based off of. And also a discussion on whether a memorandum made sense or moratorium made sense, which Tina brought up now again, so we can hopefully get better clarification of what that rule states. Because if you do read it, it doesn't specifically state. Maybe it does or doesn't say all well. It says all wells if you read it, but maybe we can get actual answers to that. But and related to that, we're probably going to stick on that similar discussion since we kind of got 2 or 3 main points out of there that might be worth discussing more. That'll happen at the next committee meeting. So just so people have an idea what's going on. Part of it will be related to what all we can or can't do attached to like a permit, a water use permit, and then more discussion around like what the percentage thing, whether we think that has some value, so. As far as additional business, I have none.
Thank you, Kendall. Okay, we'll move on to the projects and program committee report. Richard?
Projects and Program Committee met last Thursday, April 11th, at the office in York. Those present were Bethune, Bohaty, myself, Houdersheldt, Terry, Yates, other staff members, directors, and guests. Action items. A, land treatment program. There were 3 new land treatment program applications and 3 completed land treatment projects. The committee reviewed the land treatment program funding. The Upper Big Blue received an additional $3,124.50 of funds for the fiscal year 24. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD approve payment of $1,370.24 for 3 completed NRD land treatment projects. The motion carried 5 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Any questions or comments on these? Roll call.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
No.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson.
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
I carried 15-1.
Private dams program. TM and DH Farms private dam application had an initial estimate of $75,040 with a maximum NRD cost share of $50,000. The updated design estimated for the dam is $109,503.85. Due to rising construction costs, the Upper Big Blue NRD recently increased the maximum cost share for private dams to $75,000. With the increased maximum cost share, TM and DH Farms has decided to proceed with the project. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD approve the revised private dam application from TM and DH Farms for the dam located west of Sutton in Clay County with revised cost estimate of $109,503.85 and with an NRD cost share estimate of $75,000. That motion carried 5 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second. Questions or comments on this?
So did they resubmit an application or we're just applying it to their current ones? Like the new funds to their current application?
They were approved early in the process before the final design estimate was up. And so it was the 50 probably would have been all right, pretty close to 75,000. It wouldn't have covered, they just still paid over 25%. But when the design estimate went up, they kind of waffled on whether to complete it. And that's when, like Ken said, the costs are going up and we're doing a few larger dams now that are exceeding that 50,000.
Kind of when you told them the change in.
Yeah,
They
when,
had some
because we
interest in it.
kind of approved it and going ahead with that 50,000, I thought we better reauthorize it at the newer rate if we're going to, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? Roll call.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
No.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
No.
Yates,
No.
I carried 13-3.
Next action item, Oxbow Trail Recreation Area Supply Well Update. The Oxbow Trail Supply Well was shut off on April 7th when the lake reached the top of the conservation pool. Boski Corporation submitted their final invoice in the amount of $49,623.25 for instilling the well. The first invoice of $63,600 has been paid. The final costs were higher due to the clay rock layer they had to drill through. Boski broke a drill bit trying to drill through the clay rock layer and had to bring in another drill rig. Normally, they drill approximately 60 feet per day, but when they hit the clay rock layer, they could only drill about 10 feet per day. Boski Corporation quote was $107,196.25, and the total project was $113,253 and a quarter. Broken Arrow Excavating has completed installing the membrane and crushed rock on the well pad and still needs to complete seeding of the well outlet channel. Rio Fencing will be installing a chain link fence around the well. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD approve payment of $49,653.25 to Boski Corporation for the installation of the supply well to Oxbow Trail Rec Area. The motion carried 5 yes, 1 no, and I so move.
Second.
Any questions on this or comments? Yes, Rod.
Do we know what the total depth of that well is?
I want to say, is it close to 300? I think it's close to 300 feet. I mean, how deep, the deepest part
Where'd they hit that rock layer at?
is down pretty far, I think. It said it might have been an old riverbed or something, and, well, they needed to get, and we were hoping to get 800 gallon a minute, and when they got through and pumped it, they got to 1,200 per minute. They're not gonna run it that fast, but because they don't want to overwork the motor. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes, only because it's already done.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
No.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Yates,
No.
14-1,
Or, I'm sorry, 14.
14-2.
No, even though we're paying the bill, and I'll vote no, because that's, the only reason I didn't vote no was they've already drilled the well. But if you got a couple that are voting no, I would like to change one of the bill. It's not gonna make any difference. No. I want it on record then, and I said no.
Oh, if we do that, we all need to revote, I think. Is that the proper way to do it, John? It isn't gonna make,
It isn't gonna make a difference. It's not gonna make a difference, but
well, if I wouldn't have voted last,
Ask for a revote.
then I won't.
to recall.
yeah,
Then I
the
will.
motion. Yeah, somebody asked, or yeah.
Then, as far as I'm concerned, let it go then.
Okay. Okay. Go on, Richard.
Okay, now that we got that done, so. Lake Hastings Water Quality Management Plan Update and Payment Request. JEO Consulting has submitted the Lake Hastings Watershed Plan to EPA for review. EPA's comments will be incorporated into the plan. Tara Ogren of the City of Hastings has planned to complete a water quality model for Lake Hastings, but Tara has left the city. The city does not have the expertise or staff to complete the model. JEO has submitted a proposal to complete the water quality model for a cost of $7,505. The Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy does not have any additional funding for this model. The Little Blue NRD and the City of Hastings are both supporting of completing this model. Discussion included having the City of Hastings covering these costs. The water quality model development was part of the watershed plan, but Hastings was not trying to credit the in-kind costs for the model development as part of the city's contribution. Now that Hastings does not have the staff to complete the model It was thought the modeling cost should be shared by the three participating agencies, the Upper Big Blue, Little Blue, and the City of Hastings. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD approve amendment 1 to the interlocal agreement with the Upper Big Blue NRD, the Little Blue NRD, and the City of Hastings for the Lake Hastings priority area of the Upper Big Blue NRD Water Quality Management Plan update. Amendment number 1 extends the agreement to December 31st, 2024, and adds 2,500 funding from each agency. Original funding commitment was 9,000 per agency to cover the cost for the development of a water quality model by JEO Consulting. That motion carried 4 yes, 2 no, and I so move.
Second.
Matthew was there, okay. Any questions or comments on this? Does everybody understand what went on or what happened or reason for this change?
We had a pretty good discussion about this since the lady had left that worked for Hastings. She basically, they threw it in her, she used it and they didn't bill anybody for the time, so.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Weiss,
No.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
No.
Jeff,
No.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
No.
Grotz,
Abstain.
Houdersheldt,
No.
Miller,
Pass.
Nuss,
No.
Otte,
Pass.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, no. Yates,
We have an abstention. Do they want to leave that alone? And I
Okay,
don't
but the
know.
two people that passed
Yeah.
have to either vote yes, no, or abstain.
Okay, but the two that
So
Pass.
Miller,
Where are we at right
I think we're 5 yes and 7 no. Is that correct, Nancy?
yeah, we've got 5 people that have voted yes.
Pass will vote yes.
And 2 passes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This pass will vote yes.
Okay.
Here's
Who's the,
Teresa.
No.
Okay, so that failed.
wait, I haven't voted
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry.
I think the vote is 6 yes, 8 no. Is that correct?
Yes.
And 1 abstain, and I'm gonna vote no. I voted no in committee, so.
So that motion failed. Vote was 6 yes, 9 no, 1 abstention.
And who abstained? I abstained. Oh, you did.
That was
Rodney.
Rodney.
Okay, I lost track. Thanks. Yeah. All right. Next item, Recharge Lake Water Quality Improvement Study Payment Request. The Upper Big Blue NRD received an invoice from the Flatwater Group totaling $14,000 for work performed from February 14th through April 2nd, which included completion of a barometric survey, completion of a shoreline and facility inventory, and continued development of GIS data sets. Current work includes a nutrient loading assessment and a fisheries evaluation. Motion that the Upper Big Blue approve payment of $14,000 to Flatwater Group for work completed on the Recharge Lake Water Quality Improvement Study from February 14th through April 2nd of this year. The motion carried 6 yes and 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Any questions on this or comments? Yes, go ahead.
This isn't the same group that's so helpful to us as at this flat water.
The
It's the same.
water.
It has nothing to do with.
No. Yeah. The first
Yeah, I-
time I saw
I was
that
a little
too.
concerned.
Yeah,
We were.
yeah, I was wondering that too. Okay, is there any other questions or comments? On the motion? Roll call.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes, Weiss,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, warning sirens update and payment request. And I should note that we have Jack every some revised minutes. here.
Wait.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
skip some
sorry.
F. Yeah.
Yeah, I did skip F, sorry, but let's start over, Kate. Hazard mitigation plan update and payment request. The JEO Consulting Group submitted an invoice in the amount of $2,803.60 for work performed from February 17th through March 15th of 2024. The Nebraska Emergency Management Agency shares 75% of $2,100, 2 cents and 70 cents. The Upper Big Blue NRD, Hamilton County, Seward County, and York County will each pay 6.25% of $175.23. The Upper Big Blue NRD will invoice the other agencies quarterly. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD approve payment of $2,803.60 to JEO Consulting Group for work completed on the Upper Big Blue NRD multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan update from February 17th to March 15th of 2024. The motion carried 6 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
Questions on this? Comments? Roll call.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes, Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
And I apologize, I got the sheet from Jack and I forgot to top part of the page here on the last one, so. Okay, and the warning sirens update and payment request. Blue Valley Public Safety has completed the installation of the poles and the siren equipment and has submitted an invoice for the installation that matched their approved quote of $34,180. Clement Electric has installed power to each siren, has submitted an invoice that matched their approved quote of $17,727. Both BVPS and Clement Electric will return to each siren site to assist in testing the sirens. Blue Valley Public Safety completed the testing of each siren on Wednesday, April 17th, 2024. Clement Electric was unable to attend the siren testing, so Clement Electric testing fees were taken off the invoice. Clement Electric will have additional costs for installing an additional disconnect at each siren site as specified by the state inspector. Motion that the Upper Big Blue NRD approve payment of $34,180 to Federal Signal for cost of installing the 4 sirens at Oxbow Trail, Smith Creek, Recharge Lake, and Pioneer Trails. That motion carried 6 yes, 0 no, and I will so move.
Second.
Who's the second? No, okay, Matt, okay. Oh,
You raised your hands.
oh. John seconded. Okay, Matthew.
How often do we gotta replace these?
The sirens? I don't know what
What's that?
life is expecting. There's batteries involved that probably
Okay.
need to be replaced at times, but I guess I'll find that out for you guys.
Isn't it wired up?
In case the power goes out, we'll still have a siren set off.
Something about tornado.
I'd say it's too late by that point.
I recommend we have Matt replace the batteries or check the sirens, make sure they're working. He could call.
They're up.
Paul.
Get awful close to it. Did they work?
Yes. He set him off. He had a controller in his truck and then when he set him off, then he contacted the county emergency management agencies and had them send a cancel signal and got him. And we got all the cancel signals except for Oxbow. He thought they had kind of the wrong signal, but he called them and they actually set the siren off from David City. So it did work.
So the motion is paying Federal Signal 34,180 instead of paying Clement then, right?
You know, we had
There's
two
another
motions because we
separate
had two
motion.
invoices.
This is.
Oh, okay,
they were
okay, I
trying to
skipped
create.
over that, okay. Okay, I'm sorry, okay. I jumped ahead that time, I'm sorry. So is there any other questions or comments? On the motion to pay Federal Signal $34,180? Roll call.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert. Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Yates,
Does the pass one to vote?
You can abstain then? Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Motion carried.
Then the second motion, this is what we'll have the invoice change. Okay, the motion is the Upper Big Blue NRD approved payment of the actual invoice of $15,427 instead of $17,727 to Clement Electric for cost of installing the electrical service to the 4 sirens at Oxbow Trail, Smith Creek, Recharge Lake, and Pioneer Trails. And the motion we had last week carried 6 yes and 0 no, and so I will move on the new motion.
Second.
Any questions on this? Comments? I notice you're studying over there, Kendall. Do you have a question? Okay. Okay. Roll call.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Discussion and action items, Langworthy Ryan Miller update. I believe we're going to discuss during the executive committee later tonight. Smith Creek Picnic Shelter and Playground update. Dostal Construction is planning on starting construction of the picnic shelter and playground the first part of May. Broken Arrow will be removing the existing shelter the last week of April. Ballgren Dam pipe repair. Staff will be preparing a package to distribute the contractors for lining the outlet pipe at Ballgren Dam. The lower Big Blue NRD commented that will be difficult to get 3 bids. Staff will notify eligible contractors and post a notice on the Upper Big Blue NRD website. Additional information, Beaver Crossing Blue River Trail. Beaver Crossing asked to postpone their presentation until the May Projects and Programs Committee meeting. And I do not have any additional information, so that would be my portion of the
Okay,
meeting
thank you,
tonight.
Richard.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we'll move on to the executive committee report. I asked John Miller to do this since Bill's not here, so.
Exec committee met at 7:55 on Thursday, April 11th, at the NRD offices in New York. Committee members in attendance were Yates, Dickinson, Stahly, Bethune, Siebert, Richard Bohaty, myself, and Roger Houdersheldt. Also staff, directors, and a guest. Publication was noted on April 2nd. The Open Meetings Act was available in the back of the room. First action item, directors' first quarter per diem and expenses. Executive committee reviewed the director's per diem and expenses for the past quarter. The first quarter director's per diem was $8,190 with expenses of $3,808.98 for a total expenditure of $11,998.98. Individual expense vouchers were available for review. Motion is to approve payment of the first quarter 2024 directors per diem of $8,190 and expenses of $3,808.98 for a total of $11,998.98, and to publish these approved expenditures in the March financial report, except that each director who has per diem and or reimbursement of expenses included in such financial report abstains from voting for the approval of his or her own per diem and or expense reimbursement. That motion carried 8 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second. Any questions on this? Comments? Roll call.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson.
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes, Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item B, keyless entry system. The Upper Big Blue NRD received quotes from Applied Connective, Kidwell, and Mattitz Lock and Safe for keyless entry system for the headquarters office, heated storage, unheated storage, and the maintenance building at Recharge Recreation. There are funds available from the 24 budget under the capital expenditure line item that will not be spent this year. Those funds could be used to make purchase of this year or could be considered for the fiscal year 25 budget. You can see the bids are listed there. The motion was to approve purchase and installation of a keyless entry system for headquarters office, heated storage, unheated storage, maintenance building at Recharge Recreation Area from Applied Connective for a cost not to exceed $31,000 a monthly and a monthly recurring fee of $250. That motion carried 7 yes, 1 no, and I so move.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, I believe there might be an update to that.
Yes, if you guys can follow what I'm going to say, I was asked to do a little investigative work on the applied bid. When I was talking to the contractor that bid, it was found out that Recharge maintenance building was not included with that $30,663 bid that was provided. I told the contractor that I would not bring a bid back to you guys higher than that. So we did a little bit of horse trading, and we came out with this amount of numbers. For the headquarter facility, a quote of $27,191.07. For the recharge maintenance shop, a quote of $2,500.81.08, for a grand total of $29,772.15. I was also asked by to investigate a couple other options. The question is this the least expensive option? No, there's actually a cheaper quote, and there's cheaper options available. One of the cheaper options would be just to rekey all the doors every time we have someone leave or at a specific period of time. Rekeying a door is about $100 a door, and we have 15 doors on the premises. It was also asked to me to look at a keypad lock option. This is a keypad that is a one code to enter that door. There's different doors that could be coded different, but there's only one key code for the entry of that door. That's not much different than the keys that we currently have. Just because if I was to tell Crystal my passcode or the passcode to the door, it wouldn't be any different than the lock, the key. The cost of a keypad is about $450, a commercial keypad for a lock, and we would have 5 doors that would have to have keypads. And then there'd be some installation costs on that. In your packet, you'll see in front of you an email from Ryan Robinson. I was also asked to talk about a fail-safe or a fail-secure lock. The definitions are at the beginning of that email. Basically, a fail-safe is in the event of a power outage or emergency, the lock releases. A fail-secure lock is just the opposite, that it remains locked in the case of a power outage. And it takes a power source to unlock it. The bid that we have from Applied is actually a fail-secure lock. So that would be a little bit different than what I told you last Thursday night, that the doors would remain locked in a case of a power failure. So we would not have to run up here and lock the building down. So that was another question that I had asked. I also was asked to provide some references for Applied. In that packet that you're looking at, there are 11 references. I have not contacted these references yet, but you can see that a lot of them are public schools, public courthouse. You can read them as well as I can read them to you. So is there any questions that I can help answer? Roger.
Well, with this, fail secure, would there be the, push bars on the doors? So
You cannot stop egress from a building.
that's the only thing I'll.
Yeah.
Just
So
wanna make sure, yeah.
they'd have the panic bar remain. So if the power would fail, you can still exit the building. So with the,
In them, if the power's not working.
yeah, we were going to put one door with a keyed lock on it. So it potentially could be this door, it could be a fire escape door, but I would have the master key, probably have 3 master keys. So if the power went out, we would have to enter through another door besides the front door or the back door.
How about the building out here? Oh, but would there be one key for that?
It would be the same
Oh,
key
okay,
for this one.
yeah.
We would key them all the same, so the master
So there'd be
key.
one door, yeah, basically on
Yeah.
each building.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
with the exception of the unheated shop area, we only have one door. So we would have to wait until the power came back up to get into that unheated. But the likelihood of needing to get in there in an emergency is pretty slim.
Matthew.
How many, you said 15 doors. So obviously they're going up front too out here. So what's the purpose of doing the front one if all the employees come, I guess, out here? I guess I'm just going from, the hospital has key cards for where the employees come in. And then the rest are all key lock entries where they unlock them. And then I get the outdoor stuff too, but yeah.
We have a lot of personnel that park out in front that come in the front door during business hours. So they would have to park in back and come in the back door. It's just a staff convenience. You're correct, though. We could lock up the front door and actually manually unlock it every time and have everybody come in the back door, but you'd have some grumbling, or I'd have some grumbling.
Paul?
Have you had any trouble, being as you want to do this, with the past people keeping their keys or getting in here?
I have to be careful on how I answer that. One of my responsibilities is the security of this building. Every time we let somebody go or we have somebody retire or leave, we don't necessarily all the time get a key back. We're not for sure if a key duplicate has been made from those individuals or any staff members. It was said last Thursday night that you shouldn't be able to duplicate keys to a public building. Well, Marie went down the day that we had this discussion, and Ace Hardware actually made her 5 keys without any questions. So we're not for sure how many keys are floating around out there in the 7 years that we've been, or 8 years we've been in this building, that people could come in and gain access to the building. So at the least, what I'm asking for you guys is permission to rekey it more often than every 7 years, which would be a less expensive option, but it's maybe not as fail-proof as what a keyless entry system is.
They don't have on the keys, do not duplicate. Some places,
Yeah.
my son has a school key, it says do not duplicate, so
Some of the keys do say do not duplicate, but not all of them. And once a duplicate key is made, you can take it to just about anywhere. Now, a locksmith probably would not duplicate if it said do not duplicate under penalty of law. But if you take it to Walmart, Ace Hardware, I'm not picking on Ace by any means, but anybody with a key machine, they may not read that and adhere to it.
Paul?
I was gonna say that too, for the church, all of our sections, then I can go down and get one made.
Yeah. And I don't think you were here for committee, were you? No. I know Dave pointed out there, but with this keyless deal, but they actually know when somebody comes in and unlocks, the records it, right? Okay. Whether that's a big deal or not, but I just thought I'd point that out.
One additional question that I was, excuse me.
Go ahead, you might answer.
One additional question I was asked last Thursday is whether these were passcode punch cards that you have to punch your code in at the door, a swipe card or a key fob. Currently, there's options in the bid that is in front of you with both fobs and key swipes. We could go either way. The equipment has not been ordered yet.
So this doesn't, so for instance, I got a name tag I gotta wear, and I just go up and just touch it in front. That's not like these are gonna be, they're gonna have to swipe it.
Well, it'd be a card, probably like that.
Yeah, a fob would be like on your key ring. Yeah.
I had that for the church at one time.
Yeah, that you just walk up. You have to be pretty close proximity of the card reader for it to unlock. A swipe card would be one that you would swipe. If I was asked my preference, I would say a fob would be the best option for us, but you guys vote, I don't.
I guess you guys probably don't, you don't wear name tags probably.
No, well, we have name tags issued, but we very seldom wear them. Most of the technicians keep them in the pickup. So if there are questions out on the site, they have some identification. But as far as a key, in my previous life, I actually had to wear it, just like you at the hospital, and any door that I entered, I could.
Anthony?
I guess one suggestion I would, if you go ahead and do the fob, I would actually create like a secure area where employees, the public can't get beyond a certain point, like maybe that boardroom door would be a place, and that door when you go in behind the offices. And that way the front's open to the public. And after that, if you want in, I think you need to wear I came from where I always wore something around my neck, whether they were trying to keep track of me or something, or everyone wore it. It was probably a little bit of both, but that's just a suggestion. I think to have, in this world we live in, to have a secure area to keep the public from just wandering in. I mean, you don't think anyone's gonna come, but I don't know. It's just smart to do that.
That's not currently in the bid that you have in front of you. We would have to have 2 more doors with, yeah.
John?
So approximately how many people now have keys, or how many fobs or cards are you?
We would have between 22 to 25 fobs or keys, depending on whether we have a summer intern. The nice thing about a keyless system is the summer help doesn't necessarily need to be in this building. They need to be out to the maintenance shop and get their pickups. We can actually set up the key system that they can only enter that building. They can't get into this building. Same with the recharge lake. If you don't want any clerical people or any technical people to have access to the recharge lake, only the maintenance people's fobs would open up that door.
So this current bid, the 29.7, whatever, includes fobs or what?
There's $867 in there as optional equipment. That would be either fobs or swipe keys. It's included, but it's not designated which one.
Oh, it's pretty sad. I'm sorry.
The $250 monthly recurring fee, is that, do you reprogram these two fobs? Do they do it for you? What is that? How does that?
No, I have not said that. If you turn to your bid and to the executive summary, the first page in, you can see premium management or basic managed. Basically, the premium, you get a little bit longer warranty for the devices, and you get some on-site visits from maintenance. So that's what the $250 gets you. $125 is mandatory for the system to run.
If we go with the applied and you want to recode the locks or new fobs, what is the cost of that?
Nothing. I do that. Well, whoever's managing the system does that.
Okay, they don't have to come in and do.
No. We have software on a laptop or on a desktop, on a computer somewhere that we would enter. If Terry would leave and I didn't get his fob, I'd just take his passcode out of the computer. So if he walked up to the door, the fob wouldn't do anything.
Same thing when people lose their keys or whatnot.
Yeah. Now, is it fail proof? No, because Terry could give Joe his fob downtown. Joe could come get in the building, But I would know that Terry's fob was used at 12 o'clock to come in the building. And I would go ask Terry why you were in the building at 12 o'clock, and he would say, I lost my fob. Or he'd tell me the truth and say, I gave it to Joe.
Is there any other questions or comments? Or we have a motion and a second to cost not to exceed 31,000. So I don't know that we need to amend what the committee necessarily did, because there's a maximum here, unless somebody wants that done, because I think a committee. No, I guess that's what it was 31,000, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
committee, and it
Yeah.
still is under, it would
Yeah,
not
yeah,
exceed
that's true,
31,000.
Yeah, so.
Now, what we do need, if you guys go with this option, it takes 35% for them to order equipment. So what we would need is a second motion to authorize staff to provide 31%, and I did not do the math, 35% of 31,000. Somebody's gonna do the math. Roger's.
Roger's gonna come really close, so.
They don't trust us?
About 12,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if the motion doesn't, if the first motion doesn't go anywhere, we don't need the 35%
Yeah.
motion.
Why do they want a third down before they'll do anything?
Buying the equipment. They need to pay for pay their vendor when they purchase the equipment.
Yeah,
That way they don't get back out.
yeah.
So what's the time frame if we approve this and you talk to them to get this all in?
If you approve it tonight, I will contact them tomorrow, and we will hopefully get it done this fiscal year before July 1st. That's given that they can get the equipment. They have the manpower to come install it. That's not the problem. It's if the equipment would get delayed getting to them. And that we could use 24 funds for it rather than having to budget something in 25 if you want to proceed.
You can always add on if you needed to, correct too.
Add on. This is the base bones of any security system. If we wanted to add on cameras, if we wanted to add on glass breakage, motion detectors, that could all be added on future. I mean, it's the platform that you build from.
Kendall.
I had a question for Paul. Have you guys had any issues or problems with yours, or has it been really reliable for?
The last 2 months, we've had issues that we found out is the computer network, not their system.
Okay.
They came in Tuesday.
Is your button pushed?
So really, we haven't had any issues. Ours is getting outdated, so we're replaced. It's 12 years old, I think. We're actually updating it at the end of this year. But the last 2 months, we were having trouble with it, or having trouble accessing it on the computer. Found out it was the church's network. It wasn't Kidwell's system that was screwing it up.
Is there any other questions or comments? Yes, go ahead.
At fingerprinting access to buildings, because that's what Aurora's public schools have. And all the students are fingerprint, all the staff or all the subs. It's a great way to control access to your building.
No, we have not.
So I don't know if you want to look at that.
In other words, they use a fingerprint to unlock the door?
And then they control what buildings I can enter, what times I can enter those buildings, all of that. By person.
Anthony.
What Tina said reminded me, Hamilton Communications used the whole hand and to come in, and I think Tina used to work there even, so she might be familiar with that. I didn't know what it cost. It seemed like a lot to get in there when my wife worked there.
I have no idea on the cost.
I guess the only thing that would solve is that Terry losing his fob or giving it to somebody else. Terry has to be there to let him in. I'm gonna pick on you, Terry. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Call for the question.
Oh, okay, the question's been called for. Okay, is there a second on the question? I don't know who's second.
Mike.
Okay. Okay, the question's been called on the motion and a second. So we have to vote on that. So we quit discussing the motion, so basically.
The motion is to call the question on the motion.
Yes.
Whether you want to put discussion.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is to
yeah,
end
thank you,
debate,
Kendall,
is
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
We went through this with,
yeah.
2 months ago.
Roll call.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes, Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
No.
Jeff,
No.
Richard,
No.
Yates,
Yes.
Carried 13-3.
Okay, so now we're back to the original motion. Without any discussion. To approve purchase of a keyless entry system. Not to exceed $31,000. Everybody understands the motion.
And what kind of a keyless system? Are you gonna have the fob then?
That's up to the staff.
Okay.
Okay. No, no more questions or discussion. Okay, roll call on the original motion.
Grotz,
No.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
No.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, no, Weiss, Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
No.
Jeff,
No.
Richard,
No.
Dickinson,
Yes.
pass one vote,
Yes.
and Yates.
Yes.
That carried 10-6.
Okay. Item C is the Burke Scholarship.
We need one more motion
Oh,
on this.
Yes.
Excuse me, you're right.
35%, which is $10,420 to authorize the payment of $10,420.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize payment for the keyless entry to whoever that is. Yeah. Not to exceed 11,000.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, so but to pay them the 35% down they wanted, to get stuff ordered.
If this fails, then what we just passed fails. We wouldn't have the money.
Then Dave would have to go talk to them and tell them we're probably, yes, we want the system, but we're not gonna put any money up front and see what they say. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave.
Yep.
A new motion since it wasn't on the agenda, just so talk about this, now you're adding something to pay something.
Didn't we have the
We had the key.
keyless entry system
Yes.
on the agenda?
Yes, this is part of the keyless entry agenda. Yeah. Any questions or comments?
I mean, we could bog
Does
this
everybody-
down like the legislature.
Thanks a lot. Does everybody understand what we're, what the motion is? Do you want to read it, Nancy? please.
To approve down payment of 35% to Applied Connected for a keyless entry system not to exceed $11,000.
Any questions or any more comments? Roll call.
Peterson,
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
No.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
No.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
No.
Jeff,
No.
Richard,
No.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
that carried 11-5.
Now may I go to section
Okay,
C?
John, now you can move on to Burke Scholarship. if
Excuse
you
me,
want to.
I remember that now. Burke Scholarship discussion, I believe Kevin chaired that committee and I'll let him give the presentation.
Thank you, John. The Scholarship Selection Committee met on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. The committee consisted of Teresa Otte, Matthew Perry, and myself. David Eigenberg was also present. There were 7 completed applications submitted for the 2024 Burke Scholars Program. However, 2 of the applicants failed to meet the requirements of the award and so were not considered. Of the remaining 5 applicants, the committee selected Remy Christensen, a 2022 graduate of Seward High School who was studying plant biology at UNL. Mason Lindberg, a 2024 graduate of Cross County Community Schools who will be studying biological systems engineering at UNL. And we chose Sarah Springer as an alternate, a 2023 graduate of Aurora High School who is studying fisheries and wildlife management at UNL. Motion to award 2 $2,000 scholarships, one to Remy Christensen, one to Mason Lindberg, and name Sarah Springer as alternate. That motion carried 8 yes, 0 no, and I so move.
Second.
You have a second.
Richard,
Thank you.
any questions or comments? Before we go any farther, I want to thank those 3, but for doing that, taking time, and I know Crystal had something to do with it too, along with Dave, so thank you. Questions, comments? Yes.
We were all we were all about the same with everybody, so
Okay,
there were
good.
no really big discrepancies with who won, so.
So there wasn't any real big fights or anything, arguments took place, okay, that's good, so. Roll, yes.
We don't have 3 of them, we have 3 good applicants. 3 scholarships. I don't have had this discussion before.
In our policy, it says 2 scholarships per
Yes.
year. If you want to do a 3rd one, you could make a motion to suspend is it suspend or how did we make that last time? It was suspend the rules, wasn't it, to include 3?
Yeah.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay.
Hold on a second here.
Okay, I know we've done that once or twice, yeah, because there was, there are that many that were, very, very qualified, there's actually more than that last year, I think, but John?
I think last year, didn't we have money in the budget that exceeded the normal?
Oh, I know what the deal was, but they're the water,
So we did have additional money that was in the scholarship line item for Water Leaders Academy in case someone from the community wanted to attend that program. And that is the case again this year. We don't have anybody attending from the community. So we do have an additional amount in the scholarship fund that we could put towards an additional Burke scholarship, if that was the will of the board.
any other questions or comment in the motion? Yeah, Jeff, so in the motion, give the 3rd one to this alternate, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then they might have to, if you want another alternate, you know, they may have to select one. Is that? Is that what you would like to see in the motion?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Paul?
I don't make it too complicated. You got three good people. We have a hard time getting.
Yeah.
people to
Okay.
apply.
Crystal?
I was just gonna say additionally, in the 5 years that I've been here, we've never had anyone not fulfill the requirements of the scholarship. And so we've never needed the alternate. So I don't think it's a problem to not have an alternate this year.
Yes, Kevin?
As a member of the committee, Jeff, there was, I mean, if we were going to extend the Burke Scholarship Program past the two applicants and into the alternate as well, there's about 4 to 5 that were good applications. There was clear division from the top 2 on down. But all the 5 that came in that we evaluated were certainly, but when we went to make the decision, the top 2 rose to the top pretty easily.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Or comments? Do you want to read the motion?
Okay.
Nancy, please.
Well, here's what I wrote down.
Okay.
Okay, to suspend the policy limiting the Burke Scholarship to 2 scholarships and award a $2,000 scholarship to Sarah Springer.
And that's what you wanted. Yeah, okay.
In addition to Remy and Mason.
Should I just say an additional?
Okay,
$2,000
addition,
scholarship?
okay.
Yeah.
Additional.
Okay.
Oh, I'll just do that.
Yeah. Is there any other questions or comments on the new motion? Roll call.
Well,
Wait,
go on.
oh, I'm sorry.
Are there just like certain rules we can suspend, or how's this work exactly?
You can suspend any of your rules or policies.
Oh, I know where you're going, or what you're thinking.
You gotta vote on it.
Yeah, we have to vote on it, you know,
Voting
yeah,
on that.
yeah.
If the vote is turned down to suspend the rules, then we have to go back.
What?
No,
No,
first you're gonna vote to suspend the motion and do an additional $2,000 scholarship to Sarah Springer.
yes.
If that passes, then you vote on the motion that you had on the floor to, you know, it would, for the other 2 people plus her.
Does that take a 2/3
Uh,
to do this?
Since we have that other motion on the floor, yes, I know, but so we probably need to amend that motion or vote on that other motion first.
To suspend the rule has to be done first. Yeah. Now, whether it's 2/3 or not, I'm not for sure.
Oh, and I don't know if I can find it in my. Wait, so, what are you thinking, Roger?
Well, the motion of the second was already made for the 2 scholarships.
Yes.
So I think we have to vote on that before we can vote on the suspension for the 3rd scholarship.
Okay.
Yes, yes, I think that would be right. Or,
We just set it back to committee.
no, because these scholarships are due and they need to be announced or shortly. Rodney,
I just did a quick Google search. I don't know how official this is, but it does say motion to suspend the rules suspends formal process for dealing with a specific question debatable, requires a 2/3 vote.
2/3.
okay. Okay, so we're gonna back up one motion and we're gonna vote on the original motion for the, to award the scholarship to the first 2, the Remy and Mason. Any more discussion on that? Got that, Nancy?
It's. the
Would you
motion
read it,
had on the
please?
floor, so it's the first,
Yes,
the two
yes,
plus, plus
yes.
the alternate.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Teresa asked him.
yes,
To award $2,000 scholarships, one to Remy Christensen, one to Mason Lindberg, and name Sarah Springer as alternate.
that's what we're gonna vote on. Roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now, while we're on the topic of scholarships, does anybody want to do anything else with scholarships? Okay, Jeff. I'm looking at you. Yes.
I'd like a third scholarship for this year to the alternate. Did I say that right?
And to suspend,
And to suspend the rules?
yes. That's what I think needs to be, said, yeah. Oh, okay, we got a couple seconds.
Okay. Okay.
Mike News.
Okay.
Okay, but to make this happen, but we need a 2/3 majority. So since there's 16 here, we need 11. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Sorry this has taken so long, but I think we're doing it right now. Okay, everybody understands the motion. Roll call.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Peterson,
No.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
No.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
No.
Houdersheldt,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Yates.
No.
So that carried 11.
Yeah.
Five.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For the time being, that's the end of the. We go on to the discussion of no action items.
We have another item on the agenda.
We can finish out the report though.
Okay, okay, okay,
I've got that after the personnel report, if that's all right. with the
okay,
chair.
yes, that is fine.
Okay,
You're in charge of this committee, so go ahead.
building maintenance discussion, the headquarters office facility sustained water damage around the middle of January 2024. It was determined that the damage occurred when a frost layer developed between the rafter installation and the roof sheeting. Warming of the attic area caused the frost to melt. Eileen Court Jackson of Jackson and Associates has conducted a site visit to assist in providing the potential solution. Jackson has created a PDF report out of our FieldWire software. This is an interactive platform that allows certain areas to be looked at in detail. Eileen Korth was available via Zoom to explain her findings, discuss possible solutions, and answer questions. This will be a continuing discussion in future meetings, so.
John, and I'd like to bring up, on a Zoom meeting was really good. She really explained things well. and I'll check with Crystal. Is that available for anybody that wasn't here? Can they get onto that and watch that? Is that possible?
Yes, I can make that available.
So, and anybody that wasn't here, it's pretty interesting.
Mr. Chairman, for anybody that was not here, you'll have a packet in front of you with, the top of it that says field wire. This is her, documentation of her report, so.
Can I ask a question about that? I was at there, but I have a question that I thought of since we watched that. I guess what came to mind to me was the company that designed our building or built it, is there any recourse to sue them? Because $200,000 is a lot of money. And the building's only 10 years old, and it looks like they tried to patch it together. I know Dave wasn't here, you walked into this mess, but it's a lot of money. And we pay an architect a lot of money to do things, and, you know, it didn't work. That's something the committee should think about. That money could be used somewhere else. Just a thought. I don't know anything about it.
I think there was a couple other things that we had to redo here and I know when the pipe broke, and you were dealing with them. Then was there like a year or 2-year warranty? Is that what they stood behind? And then after that?
That is correct,
Oh.
Mr. Chairman. When the building was built, there was a year warranty provided with the building. When the pipe broke, we had the year extended from the time that the refurb was done from the pipe breaking. So we had a little over a year warranty, let's say a year, 8 months. I'm not for sure how long it took. But there was a warranty on the building, but the warranty has since gone.
Who was the builder and the architect?
Ayers and Ayers was a design build of the building. We did have a separate architect, Alan Quick, that the board hired to represent themselves and to work with Ayers and Ayers. Actually oversee it. Supposed to have. Okay.
Yeah. Roger.
Yeah, Alan was supposed to represent our interest and keep an eye on what they were doing and what they weren't doing.
Who is that?
He was a consultant out of Omaha or whatever, and, you know, when he came to the, board meeting and would update us on everything. And, I wasn't really impressed with him then, and I'm really less impressed with him now. After going through this, and, Aaron Ayers have lost a couple buildings over this thing. Because I had a couple different people call me about, and then I told them I wouldn't recommend them come hell or high water. So.
Do we have any recourse to insurance or anything on this?
We would have very limited, we would have some ceiling tile damage that could be assessed against insurance. But as far as the damage that occurred in January, that's all that would be covered by insurance, not the building of the building. Not the insulation of the building. That's how I should have said that.
It's not necessarily destruction.
We probably had 30 ceiling tile that we lost, but that would be pretty minor.
Yeah.
I know you called it Southern Exposure, or you had a name that this building was like you had a name for it, Dave. I guess I still would go back to the architect and say if it was a design flaw, it really had nothing, it was still okay, he designed a building that doesn't work. And otherwise we could have probably built something. I mean, you would think they're certified by the state, they have to, they're professional architects, and so I would think they'd have some accountability.
But I think you're referring to, she talked about our climate zone, and we're in climate zone 5.
Yeah.
Because of our freezing and thawing, things are built different here than they are. I'm gonna say 2 states north or 2 states south. So, yeah,
Yeah, I would have thought the architect would have known that.
okay. Go ahead, John.
Public relations update, management recommends that the planning of the annual event be started. Recent tours focused on past, current, and potential projects that have been rotated around the district. In 2023, we visited the southeast quadrant of the district. If the typical rotation is followed, this year's event would be in the northwest portion of the district. Staff suggests that the month of August be targeted. August generally has provided the highest participation. Suggestions on specific subject matter might be discussed, and the board was asked to make recommendations. I guess Crystal or Dave is the one that you need to make the suggestions to. I don't know if there's any other comments or not. If not, personnel report, and I'd like Dave to go ahead and do that.
Okay, I've tried to break it down for you guys, as far as openings and filled positions. We have an opening well, we actually have 2 water tech positions open. We offered 1 water tech to an individual, he turned us down. So we were back to having 2 water techs. Jaden Groff is leaving in April 23rd, next week. We also have our civil engineer technician. He will be leaving April 23rd. We do have an interview set up with an individual that potentially may take that. We have filled the 2 water department summer interns. With technicians being so scarce around here, I elected to do 2 interns this summer. So we had a workforce. If you go down to the water department, you can see that we have a grant funded water coordinator. Caleb Fritz has agreed to take that position. We put Seth Norquist into the conservation, the CPM conservation specialist position. We have had an acceptance of our water conservationist position. Valerie Paul will be starting May 1st in that position. We do have forestry department. We have a maintenance worker, Levi Johansson, has started. He's actually was out planting trees this past week. And we've had 1 of our occasional maintenance workers, our weekend help is what we call them. Last year we had 2. We elected just to go with 1 this year because we didn't get 2 applicants. We only had 1 applicant. So what we're going to do is give him more hours to do the weekend trash pickup and PR work. We have had 1 additional resignation. Kyle, our district forester, actually resigned yesterday. He will be leaving May 1st, going north. So, questions on that? No, going to a state agency in Bismarck. Yeah, Bismarck, yeah, no, North Dakota in Bismarck.
Wow.
No. Yeah. He never went to, he went to Shadron to school. So it kind of caught me off guard. We're right in the middle of tree planting. He has told me that all the trees will be planted before he leaves, unless it turns real wet for the next, and I'd be willing to plant the trees myself if it turns really wet the next 2 weeks. So.
Dave. Well, so in other words, if it keeps raining and raining, but then he can't quit until,
No,
he might be here for.
I'm planting the trees if it continues to rain for the next 2 weeks.
I guess maybe loaded question, but seems like there's been some turnover here
Mhm.
lately. What's the main reason you think, or what
The-
are you getting the feeling of the main reason for
Okay,
that?
the past 3 resignations have been for relocation. We have 2 that are going to the East Coast, and we have 1 that's going to North Dakota. Erin went to Omaha for much more money. She is classified as an environmental scientist now at a Omaha firm. So money would have been that option. The maintenance position was a agreed mutual parting of the ways. So that was my responsibility. The maintenance worker on the weekend, we just didn't get any applicants, so.
Perfect storm then, unfortunately, I guess.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say perfect.
Yeah, lack of a better word, yes.
I would be what I've tried really hard the last month is to fill these positions, with some success. Terry and I have interviewed 5 people in the last month. 2 of those we've got, well, 3 of them we got on board. We're still looking for technicians. So you can blame me. I got wide, broad shoulders. You can blame me for staff leaving. Whether it's poor working environment, I don't think so. If that's what you are asking, I think mainly it's the new age we're living in and potentially, wage. We're a little low on wage.
I was leaning towards the wage part.
Yeah.
Do you have like a portal or something that they're getting bid away from us?
I didn't hear you.
Like a portal, like the NCAA portal?
Do we do a market now every year?
We do several market analysis. The metropolitan areas do one market analysis. Then all the NRDs go together and do an in-house market analysis. So yeah, we have a couple market analysis. When we get to, in a couple months, maybe next month, in fact, I'll come with a salary schedule, where that falls. You will have a request from myself to increase wages across the board this year so we can have a little bit better retention. And if I'm turned down, I'm turned down, but at least I've asked you guys.
Yeah, just the age we've been living in since COVID is just a lot of turnover and just a fact of reality.
We're not the only NRD with this same challenge. I think every NRD across the state has multiple vacancies right now and it's becoming very hard to get applicants. You want me to finish, or are you gonna finish out?
You done with personnel?
I'm done with personnel.
Mr. Chairman, I move we go into executive session to discuss some legal matters.
Second.
There's a motion to go into executive session to talk about, litigation. And we have a second. Roll call.
Otte,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes, Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yeah.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Staff that you want.
Oh, but who do you want? Jack? You? And Nancy. Jack, we'd like you to stay, Nancy
Okay.
also. And we'll take a couple minute break here, so. Did you turn the recording on?
Not yet, I'm just waiting.
Okay,
for everybody to get in.
Who? Oh,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to come out of executive session and a second. Roll call.
Perry,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the board is taking no action on our closed session deal, so we'll move on to financial statement and approval of bills.
Do you want legislation and investments?
Oh. Yes,
I don't know whether there's any legislation since we were sunny day today.
Today was sunny day. It sounds like they're coming back in, for a special session.
In August, yes. And that's for the tax, because that didn't pass, but I think the voucher thing did, didn't it?
Yes, the appropriation bill that was the governor's priority bill did not pass, so, they're coming back like, I don't know, did they set an August date or is it?
I think that's what it, said on the, World Herald website.
Okay.
okay.
Investments are on
yeah.
the back, anyone interested in the Blue River Compact? Let Dave know.
Before Monday. I need to know before Monday, so if you have enough people, we can rent a van. If not, we'll take the Impala.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I've got.
Thank you very much, John, for filling in. Okay, now we'll work on the financial statement and approval of bills to be paid. Do you look it over, got any questions? Holler.
There will be one change in the expenditures, and that's reflected on the Clement bill that was to be paid in the expenditures. It's listed at $17,725. It was 15. The mo- 15 and a quarter. 15,427. So we will destroy that check and issue a check for 14,000.
15,427.
Okay, 15,427.
And there was not a check made for the Lake Hastings Water Quality Management Plan update and payment request?
Oh, you mean the one,
Oh, we have one that got voted down.
No, that would have been next month.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
oh.
yeah, oh, for that extra money,
Yeah, no, there wasn't any check for
Yeah.
that.
okay. Well, tell him to put his phone down.
That is my kid.
Yeah.
I'll move to adopt the financial statement, pay the bills.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the financial statement and pay the bills. Any questions or comments? You got one, Roger? Or you just give me a hard time? Roll call.
Peterson,
Yes.
Siebert,
Yes.
Stahly, yes. Weiss,
Yes.
Bethune,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Dickinson,
Yes.
Grotz,
Yes.
Houdersheldt,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Otte,
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next thing, the NRCS report.
Hi, everyone. Most of you know me already. I've been here a few times, but I'm Nicole Strand, the resource conservationist in Osceola for Polk County. For those of you who weren't here last month, Josh is currently serving on a 120-day detail to our state office. So I am now Josh for 120 days. I'm like 40 days deep into it. So you still have me for a while. As far as what we're up to right now, we're working on all of our EQIP and RCPP applications to get those to see who is going to be selected for funding for this year. That deadline was April 5th, but in typical fashion, something went wrong, so we still do not know who was selected for funding, but we're still working on those. In Aurora and Osceola, we have 2 employees who were offered tentative job offers, so they still have to go through background checks and everything, but we finally have people coming into some of the positions. We've had a lot of turnover too. Sad to hear about Kyle leaving. And that's about it for me right now. So, do you guys have any questions or anything?
I know last year when Josh first talked about this green money, it's kind of turned out from what I was talking to Kimberly and Seward, it's kind of turned out to be kind of a farce. What sounds like what was actually going to be available and what really is 2 different numbers.
Right, yeah, we thought we were getting a lot more money than we actually were, and we did get quite a bit of money, but unfortunately, you know, this area, most of it goes towards pivot projects. So we spend it a lot faster than the southeast, northeast, where they have, you know, smaller things that are not structural. But we did get 28 new contracts through that, so, which is quite a lot for this time of the year to already know we have that many.
Anybody have any other comments or questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. You know, for sticking around. This is getting to be a longer meeting, so thank you. Okay, the next thing, the NERD report. Paul.
Only thing I really have is to remind you of the Basin tour coming up June 10th and 11th in the Republican Basin area. They want you to, there's limited spots, so they want registration done as soon as possible. I don't know, Nancy, if you're doing it for our NRD or
I think Dave, didn't you pass that out? Maybe.
the sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
No.
That's all I've got this month.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for Paul? Okay, as far as chairman's report, a couple of things were brought up. I think somebody sent out an email that Merlin Volkmer passed away, a few weeks ago. He had been on our board, oh geez, for a long time. I don't know what it was, 25, 30 years maybe? 39, thank you. Yeah, okay. So, he had some health problems and he just couldn't get over them, and a couple of other things I was gonna mention, they've already been talked about, compact meeting, basin tour, to remind people of that. So I really don't have anything else. Does anybody have anything they want to mention, bring up? Anthony?
I'd like to make a quick comment. I know the meeting's been long. We all want to go home, but tonight we had some, I'm not gonna respond to them, but we've had some interesting information brought to us by the public, and I guess I don't know where to go with this, but I'd like the water committee maybe to review some of the information brought forward tonight. Some of the statements made by the public tonight, it appears that the peer group that was prepared by Brown and Caldwell contained some concerns about the synergy permit, and it was not given to the board to consider until the day of the meeting. I was at the December meeting. There was nothing about it. I looked in my packet. I don't know what our recourse is, but I think as a board, we look negligent. I know we never have resented a permit, but we did make mistakes in our parliamentary procedure. We did make mistakes. The final copy of the peer group and even the report wasn't available to us. So I just think we need to look at this. I know we're afraid we might, if we do something, we'll get sued by Synergen. I'd welcome them to see, that'd make a great article in the paper. If the NRD reconsider their permit, they would look horrible to the community. And I don't know anything, but, and not these people here, but there's a lot of people in Hamilton County don't like this, and I wouldn't be surprised if they would eventually try to sue the NRD if it gets through the county commissioner. So I think we should just look at it and see, did we make a mistake? What could we do? Or not blaming anybody for not handing things out. When I came to the December meeting, I thought I had missed a lot of stuff, so I didn't ask a lot of questions, but I hadn't missed anything because there was nothing really told about. That's all I have to say.
I know when they brought the information to us, but see, they kept everything quiet.
Yeah.
Until we were the first one, they even presented anything to, I think, that's the way I understood it.
Well, from what I understand, staff knew about this for at least a year. That big project was coming, and I don't think we knew anything about it.
Yeah, but we knew there was a project maybe coming over in that area, but we didn't know any of the details of until they brought it, I mean, they kept it quiet,
I would have liked to read that peer review in December or even November, and it should have stayed in committee. And I think it just looks, because I had asked the question that day, and if I would have had that, I would have think it would have been a lot different situation.
Does anybody have anything else they want to mention? Kendall?
I agree with you on the peer review, because I read through that and have a lot of similar feelings as far as what the peer review looks like. The report itself wasn't too bad, but the peer review just seemed like, I thought Olson would bring up what some of the concerns were, because there were some obvious concerns that they brought up, but Olson didn't do that in their presentation either. And so.
The fact that they said that there was information that, that more study would be needed, and they talked about maybe whatever they called it, wasn't the natural flow,
Yep.
I just feel like
They had some modeling
there should have been
questions.
more brought to us before it ever got to the board.
Okay.
I've just got one question for anybody here, one of the two girls. If the county committee doesn't okay it, is it a dead issue then, or
No.
Synergen, they can go ahead and?
It's a great file, yep.
Oh, because they're looking from the county for a special use permit, isn't that? Yeah, okay,
Additional use permit.
yeah. So,
But, can I say something about that?
yeah,
Seeing it on microphone though, either.
go to the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Okay, half the board members aren't using theirs either, so. Not that I lost my train of thought now. I went, ooh, it's too late for me. We were talking about that.
Conditional use permit?
Yeah,
I'll come back to you.
Okay, does anybody have anything else they want to bring up? Okay.
Hi, Angie Joyce, sorry. I do know that the CUP, the Synergen group is using the NRD. If you look at their page, they're saying the NRD approved this. They're using it as an advertising tool. I think it should be a concern, and I just wanted to state that. You can look on the Synergen site, it says NRD approved this project. I think there's a lot of questions, and I don't think they should be using you as a, advertising tool. So, thank you.
Can I add one more thing? Because she reminded me of something. In one of their ads, they're saying that there was a study done and that it's good for 50 years. And I believe that study said 25, or am I wrong about that? They're saying 50.
Yeah, so. Okay, so with that, would you like to call it quits? If you do, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Anthony, yeah. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passed.
Motion carried.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. Okay.